All right, y'all ain't know how Steppin with Marcus J is live. We in the building. It is the very first show of 2016. We're definitely excited to have you guys checking out the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. We got an explosive show tonight. We cannot wait for you to hear it. We got a special interview that we will have tonight with Miss Millionaire Mindset, the serial entrepreneur. Our sister Roberta Hosky is rejoining Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. We will hear from her. She's got a special announcement that she will have for us here in the Richmond, Virginia area. We got Big Ruben, a round table. We got to talk about what's going on in Oregon, and we got to talk about what President Barack Hussein Obama has announced that he will discuss with our country in the first week of the new year. We got a lot to get to, and we're glad you're here with us. Ain't No Half Step with Marcus J is live, and it's right now.
It's about that time. It's about that time to get.
Button your lip. Open your ears. Strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying,
then you must be half stepping.
Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J is live. We are in the building. Be down with us tonight. 804-402-2893. Be down with the flagship show, heard live from the Den of Legacy Internet Radio. We thank y'all for being a part of the flagship show for the very first show, the first time you are hearing our voices in the year 2016, 2016. We appreciate it. Be down with us by calling us at 804-402-2893. Thank you to those folks that are listening to us right now on TuneIn. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate those folks that are listening to us on Streamer. Special shout out to those folks that are listening to the replays right now on YouTube as well as on iTunes. It's because y'all rock with us every week. That's why we roll with y'all. We appreciate it. Thank you for hitting up our fan pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of those places, as well as our website, www.legacyinternetradio.com. So we appreciate it. Got a lot to get to tonight. As I mentioned, in the very next segment, you will hear the interview that we will have with our sister, the serial entrepreneur, Miss Millionaire Mindset, our sister Roberta Hosky. She will joining us in the very next segment, so stay with us. You do not want to miss this dynamic sister. But as we do every single week, we go around the room with the crew that we have with us tonight, and you hear this brother join us every week here on the show. He's one of our co-hosts here every single week. You hear our brother, Mr. 3375. Our brother Jay is up in this show. What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you as well, my square. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Happy New Year to all the listeners out there, man. I'm doing good, man.
You doing all right?
Doing good, man. Got a lot of big things coming up.
You got a little. You look like you got a little pep in your step. There,
yeah, man.
You feeling good, man?
Feeling good, man.
All right. Well, glad to see you over there. Glad to see you smiling, and glad to hear.
I'm about to choke slam your ball here to my right. Keep showing me this Dallas and Washington game.
You need to, because he's digging himself. He's feeling himself, and you know, the person that you talking about, Y'all hear him on the first Monday. He's one of our co-founders here at Legacy Internet Radio, our former regular co-host. You got him here on the first Monday every single month on Ain't No How Steppin' with Marcus J. And I'm talking about our brother Big Road.
Yeah.
I said we're talking about our brother Big Road.
Yeah.
What's up, man? You like that? You like that? I do it. We couldn't get away from it. I tried to give him a nice, dramatic introduction, Jay, and this is what he does to me.
What he does, man.
This is what he does.
Look, man.
Yeah, I like they won the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
God.
you know,
my God.
But you Cowboy fans are worse. You know, you leave social media when y'all lose, and then come back when you win a game. Then you lose again. You disappear. Next thing you know, you're calling us names and upset that you lost, and all this other craziness. And I'm just like, I just need to make sure that y'all like that. I mean, the dude played like a quarter in 3 minutes of the second quarter. And he threw like 3 touchdowns. I mean, did his uniform even get dirty? I mean, I know y'all play on turf, but I'm just saying, did his numbers touch the ground? I don't think so. And everybody can sit here and the NFC East the worst. NFC East the worst. The NFC East has more Super Bowl championships than any other division in football. So stop playing that crazy card. And furthermore, if your team is not more than 20 years old, which means that if your team was not in the current existence, when the Redskins last won their Super Bowl, don't talk to me.
Ain't No How Steppin' with Marcus J. I can dig it. Since 2006, 10 years, there's only been one team, go back and count, one team to win multiple NFL and championships. And I don't like to call them Super Bowls because I claim 8. I don't just claim the 4 Super Bowls the Giants have. I call them NFL championships because the Giants do, in fact, have 8. And they are the only team to have multiple championships basically in the last 10 years. And so, for those NFC East haters, kick rocks. Hey, Jay, you a Cowboys fan?
5-3 in the Super Bowl.
Hey, you know what you are? You're also a 500 team in the last 20 years with no Super Bowls. Yeah. So 152 and 152 in the last 20 years. So I had to take that shot at you too, brother.
Hey, it's gonna be like that till we get a new owner, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just
shout out to all you Cowboys fans and whatnot. Yeah, some of y'all I love, even though your team is whack, and you know who I'm talking to. And if you're a long time listener, you know what I'm talking about too. But Big Rube, I'll give you one more chance to say something nice about your team, and then we're gonna move on because we don't really care. So go ahead and say something nice about the Redskins.
Well,
so we can
we're not
move
gonna talk
on.
about the Redskins because the proof is in the pudding. We playing next Sunday at 4:40. So
yes,
we ain't got nothing to do with that.
Okay.
However, I do want to bring up this point that a lot of Cowboys fans really ignore, but I think it's a funny point. Yo, dog, how come the University of Alabama has won more games at your house than you did this year?
Hey, that's what it is.
I mean, really, that's your answer? That's what it is?
Yeah.
A college
we
team
can't
came
win at home since they built the stadium.
I mean, that's
So
true.
You ain't telling me
That's true. How you build a stadium at a place where how you build a house and you can't live in it?
Exactly.
Well, it's crazy about that because the Giants won more games there when they first opened it than they did. I think we beat them like the first 2 or 3
we
times.
might as well go back to Cowboy Stadium.
I mean, that's NFC East South right there, yo.
Yeah.
Everybody owns that place but y'all.
Exactly.
That's sad.
I agree.
It's all good. Ain't No How Steppin' with Marcus J. Live from the Den Legacy and that radio. Call us at 804-402-2893 because we're about to get into some serious stuff. We had some fun there at the beginning before we talk to our sister, the serial entrepreneur, Miss Millionaire Mindset, and new Legacy Internet Radio sponsor, our sister, Miss Roberta Hosky, is going to join us here in the next segment. But before we get to that, elephant in the room, y'all. You know what we got to talk about? We got to talk about what's going on in Oregon. We know that there's been, everybody's got their opinion as to what this is and how they're going to refer to it. I'm going to call it what it is. It is an occupation. Iman Bundy, I believe is his name. He is the son of Cliven Bundy. Cliven Bundy was the gentleman in April of 2014 who had the standoff with the federal government on his property in Nevada over some stuff going on with the grazing laws and things of that sort. When it's ended up happening on Saturday, these folks, armed men and women, and I don't know if there's women, but I'll say armed men and women, armed people rather, decided they were going to take up residence at a federal property in the eastern part of the state of Oregon, and they have said that they will not leave until their demands have been met. Part of their problem is the incarceration of the Hammonds, Daddy Hammond and son Hammond, who were both convicted of arson on federal property. They claim that they set fires, controlled fires, for appropriate reasons, but they were convicted of arson. They were convicted and they were sentenced to 1 year in jail, but based upon the laws, they should have been sentenced to 5. So after they both did their time, they were released, and a judge resentenced them for the remaining 4 years, of which they both went to court today. Unfortunately, I haven't had an opportunity to check out what ended up happening, but they went to court to basically return to jail. They have also said, and we must add this, that they don't endorse nor condone what the Bundys and their lot are doing in Oregon. Basically, they're having big time issues with the way the federal government has treated the basically the ranchers. And so there's a lot to get to here, Jay. I want you to jump in here first, and then Big Rube, and then we're going to round table what our opinions are. What's your first initial thought?
My first initial thought when I was reading it is, wow, they ain't storm in and just shoot first, ask questions later. You know, like I'm pretty sure like every, you know, black person in America was feeling like, dang, if that was one of us, they would have came storming in and just started shooting, you know. But that was my first initial thought. And I mean, with that being said, I'm all for, you know, standing for what you believe in and everything. And if that's what they believe in, you know, I'm all for it. I mean, they wasn't trying to hurt nobody or harm nobody or anything like that. But at the same time, if that was one of us, that the whole scenario would have, you know, turned out different.
I mean, my first thought was where they do that at.
Oregon.
Clearly in Oregon. Yeah, let's just, I mean, I remember this little place called Oklahoma City where, you know, they did some dirt down there. But yeah, you mad, so you just going to take over a federal government building? I mean, that's what you do?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand what they're mad about. I mean, they got convicted. You know, you can sit here and say, well, we burned it the way we're supposed to burn it. Clearly you won't. And, you know, it's just one of those things, man. Just, like, and for them to come out and say, well, you know, we don't condone it. And I'm thinking to myself, well, whether you condone it or not means absolutely nothing, because in your little corner where nobody can hear you, you're probably extremely, hell yeah, get them. Yeah, let them know. I mean, what? In Oregon, man, in Oregon,
yeah.
First of all, I guess my first question is, the federal government, they have nothing else better to do but to convict some dudes who burned some trees in Oregon. Now, if they were too close to people's houses or something like that, cool. And then in the middle of nowhere, just on your property, and you decide to, I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're going to sentence them. Don't do 1 year, do 5 or do 2.5. But don't let them get out and be like, nah, you got to go back. First of all, that's double jeopardy.
Yeah.
And instead of them taking over a federal building, it's called get a lawyer. Put all your resources together. Get them a lawyer, like a real lawyer. And they'll be out tomorrow. But I don't condone what they're doing. I think it's pretty stupid, because what's going to happen is, I guess when it's all said and done, they're going to join their boys in jail. Because I'm really shocked that it's still going on. You know, number one, because as you said, you know, different place, that joint be over by now.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna address that in a minute. But what I want to do, I want y'all to listen to something. It's about a 1-minute clip. I want y'all to listen to this, listeners. Call us at 804-402-2893. I want y'all to pay clear attention to what the mentality is when we see white men storm a federal building with guns and they take up residence there and refuse to leave. I want y'all to hear what some in the media think about this. Take a listen. We're going to talk about it.
You know what's going to happen next, though. You know the presidential candidates are going to get asked about this.
Right.
You know President Obama's going to be asked about this. You know it's going to become politicized. And we've already heard from activists online, many of them, I've been reading from them all morning, who say if these were Black Lives Matter protesters or if these were peaceful Muslim Americans, they'd be treated very differently by law enforcement. Do you think there's truth to that argument?
We're not talking about, I think you had mentioned it in the opening, because this is a very rural area. It is out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
What are they actually doing? They're not destroying property. They're not
no shots
looting
fired.
anything. Right, exactly. I mean, you know, there's a whole separate situation going on as to exactly why they're there, and that'll be worked out through the legal process. But I think now that they've taken over this location out at the Fish and Wildlife, this brings in the federal side. And I know the federal government has learned over the years how to deal with these types of incidences, and hopefully Fish and Wildlife will call in their federal partners, which I know they will, and sit down and figure out how to resolve this as peacefully as possible.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Now, Big Rube, you hear there's no looting, you know, it's peaceful, all of these things. When you hear someone on a this is from CNN. He's a law enforcement analyst. His name is Roderick. I'm sorry, is the voice that you just heard. What's your thoughts when he just said that? What do you think?
I mean, sounds like they just went in there and, you know, just started to have a little party. Everybody's enjoying themselves and everybody getting drinks and stuff like that. I mean, they just went down to the local fair with some guns and everybody having a good old time. I mean, really? You go into somebody's house, whatever. Let's just not even bring the fact that this is a federal building that's supposed to be protected by the United States government in here. You know, it's one thing if they go in a mom and pop shop, you know, and, oh, yeah, they're just, you know, doing whatever. Dude, they're in a federal building. Anybody else of a different, what's the word? What do I want to say?
If they wasn't white.
If they were a different color.
Yeah.
If they wasn't white.
It would have been a terrorist.
Yeah.
It would have been a terrorist attack, and it would have
I mean,
been
yeah.
shot
I
down.
mean, we dancing around it. Because we ain't got a lot of time tonight, so we're not gonna play with
And
it. Let's not dance around it.
And I'm pretty sure they're not kumbaya up in that piece.
Here's the
They
deal.
ain't a party.
Here's the deal, because y'all playing. I ain't playing. This dude, Armin Bundy, took his people to this federal.
His last name's Bundy, yeah?
Armin Bundy took his people to federal property, and they're occupying. They've been called everything from peaceful protesters to a militia. One word that I have not heard is terrorists. And when you occupy federal property armed and you say that you ain't going to leave until your demands are met,
Yeah.
and you're prepared to die,
Yeah. Terrorists.
that sounds pretty damn terroristic
Yeah.
to me. And I'm hearing people, and I've been debating with some of these people a lot in the last day or so in social media. One of the people that I have been debating with is a brother by the name of Thomas. Thomas says it's because during these peaceful protests, nobody was harmed, no damage to buildings, and force only if attacked, not quite the same as burning random buildings and advocating for the extermination of whites and police. He's referring to Black Lives Matter, obviously. So I say to you, Thomas, and I say this respectfully, insurrection and occupation of a federal building and refusing to leave ain't domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
Since when is property more important than life? Folks in our country, founded by destroying property and lives and culture, actually have the decency to be indignant
Right.
about these folks going into these properties, because it's more than just one building. Like
Right.
it's land. It's a
Right.
whole bunch. it's a bunch of land. It's I don't know the phrase off the dome, but it's land. It's a bunch of places that they have occupied. So you mean to tell me that because of what's going on in Flint, Michigan with that water, if the folks in Flint, Michigan decided they want to choose a building like City Hall or the state capitol to occupy,
they would take them out.
They would be completely taken out. And I think we all know that. And I think that it's disingenuous for us, black or white, regardless of our color, to not talk about the elephant that's in the room with regards to that. It just drives me crazy. And furthermore, I'm going to call white folk to task, because when we talk about black on black crime, which is a bullshit phrase, we all know it is, because people kill and shoot and harm where they are. Crime is a convenience thing. Right. But for the purposes of the discussion, I'll use the ludicrous phrase black on black crime. White people want to, middle to conservative white people want to always put it back on black people when we limit the fact that police and the establishment are unfair to us. Well, what about black on black crime? When y'all gonna police your own? Well, you know what? When y'all do shit like this, when y'all, see police act in a way that is unnecessary. I mean, I saw 2 stories just this weekend, 2 of police killing unarmed white people. 2 stories. One was a white woman whose dog was acting crazy. Yeah. And they opened fire on her and her dog. Yeah. Killing her and her dog. Yeah. There was another of a woman who, was a domestic dispute, and he cut off his we call a body cam, took her out, white woman, took her out, and then put his body cam back on. You know what I mean? And so police, y'all out of control. It's absolutely out of control. And so white folk, I'm going to take y'all to task. If you're going to take us to task about calling on black folk to stop killing each other, when Pookie kills Daddy, Pookie goes to jail. Yep. But when officer white guy or officer black guy or officer blue guy, he don't go to jail. He gets paid administrative leave. And when you see something like this, where they're actually occupying federal land, and we got to discuss it, we actually having a conversation about what we going to do. Are you serious? Are you serious? You know why? Because they scared of Waco again. They scared of Waco, man.
Miss Universe on Universe Loves Me. She said they took over a federal building. I can't even attempt not to go through a metal detector in our local state federal building without creating an issue. My name is Judith. Is she right?
Nah, I can dig it. I remember when, because, things have always been crazy with black and white and in relations. I mean, it's always been crazy. Let's not act like it hasn't been. But since it's been reignited, since, folks have been empowered by being openly racist because we have a president that looks black even though he's half white. Right. People have become empowered, and people are now open about this craziness. And I don't know, Rube, help me understand from the world of Ruben why I should not be so aggressive, in my opinion, that the federal government needs to take a stand and handle their business, because we know if it was us, it would be different. And we also know when the new Black Panthers came out and they started police in their neighborhoods, open carry in open carry states, you had people that was losing their minds, calling the police departments and all kinds of stuff. So what is it? We got a different Second Amendment that we have to talk about, or do we really have to go back to the Dred Scott's case when it says that we was 3/5 of a human? Like, what are we talking about here?
Right.
I think that tempering your voice would do nothing but give validity to those people who feel differently. I think that you are pretty much, very much on point about everything that you said. I think that anywhere else in this world, anywhere else in this country, any other federal building, this would have been over hours ago.
It would have been over before it got started.
I mean,
they would have seen that coming.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but definitely something would have been done by now. The fact that they still may be in there holding that federal building up and all those innocent people, yeah, I'm really going at it. I think we got a caller call on the live line. This is Big Rube. What's your name? What you want to talk about?
What's up, Big Rube? What's up, Marcus J and family? Jay Grizz here, man.
What's up, Grizz? What's going on, brother?
Not much, brothers. I couldn't help but I had to call in tonight on Ain't No Half Steppin' to voice my opinion about the situation out in Oregon. What in the Sam hell? I just came home from work and was just following the major media outlets. How can the police or the sheriff call the occupiers or the terrorists of the federal building and tell them we not even coming to deal, we not even going to come and bum rush the situation? Like Marcus said earlier, are they afraid of a Waco? They ain't give a damn about Waco when Waco happens. So I don't get that. I'm curious to know, what y'all thoughts are, just politicking with y'all in regard to the subject, because it's mind-boggling in one respect, but I'm not surprised. Even in this quote-unquote post-racial world that they claim happened since Obama got elected, Marcus is exactly right. All it did was just exacerbate what was under the surface and bring everybody's true feelings all the way up to the top of the surface. And now we got folks, and it really doesn't matter about race, because you could say the same. Well, I take that back. You can't say it's about race, because when the Black Panther Party did it, sitting outside, I think it was 2 or 3 cats sitting outside a precinct in Newark somewhere, Fox News put it on there like it was, the whole the reconstitution of the Black Panther Party in the 60s. But we got militiamen that's been running around this country for quite a while now, now taking over federal buildings. And if it's not the situation where that happened 155 years ago down in South Carolina, where they say, you know what, we're going to take over your whole fort and dare you to do something about it, which triggered the Civil War. Now the government's not going to do anything about these cats going out there sitting in a federal building. I mean, what's going on here? Somebody get me up to speed. What I'm missing?
Nah, I can dig it. I mean, you spot on. I'm getting a comment from our brother Hakeem. He's saying if we do occupy, I'm going to want those same people, that I'm criticizing to support the cause. I understand where you going with that. He's also saying shout out to the crew 502 baby. Shout out to your brother K-Dub down in the ATL. And our sister SY, who is en route. But here's my deal. There's a couple of layers to this. Grizz, stay the line because I want you to comment on this. There is something inherently wrong with people thinking that they can take over a federal piece of property armed and refuse to leave, especially in today's climate with regards to terrorism and how we view people of color and how we view people that have a different religion, and how you get to be a person who takes over a federal piece of property and there's no repercussion. There's no immediate repercussion. When we know that if the skin color was different or if the religion was different, there would be a different outcome. I'm not saying that I am supporting anybody that would occupy federal property. I don't think that the people in Flint should do that. I don't think the people in Ferguson should do that. I don't think the people in Baltimore should do that. I don't think the people in Cleveland should do that. I don't think the people in Sanford, Florida should do that. I don't think the people in Staten Island, New York should do that. And it's unfortunate that I can name all of those cities. Those are cities where either black people who have been killed unarmed by police, or there's jacked up water in a city, a nationally known city where the city government and the state government and the federal government has done nothing. If you're going to have a reason to occupy, those would be the places, because people can die. Ain't nobody dying over no damn ranch or shit. Yeah. Ain't nobody dying over that. Ain't gonna loss of life over that. You know what I mean? But you got the federal government that's turned a blind eye. And I know yesterday was football day, Grizz. I know the Steelers made the playoffs. I know the Redskins made the playoffs. And everybody was happy because they was watching football. But you know what? This should have been on national news. It should have been more prominent because it broke on Saturday. It wasn't nothing happening on Saturday. And so why you got so many people that don't even know that this was going on until this morning? Why? Because they don't want you to know. And I remember in April of 1993 when I was a freshman at Virginia Union University watching the Branch Davidians at Waco, Texas, and I watched the federal government go in there and blow them people up. And I'm not condoning that, but that's what they did. And they don't want to have another incident like that, which is the reason why they're standing now and they're negotiating with these people. And that's something that the United States government has been very clear that they don't do, is negotiate with terrorists. What the hell is going on?
Yep.
Well, I concur with you 100%. And if it's anything to the listener audience tonight, especially people of color, to let us know where the government, because honestly, after 7.5 years of Obama in office, I'm more siding with what you used to say, Marcus, like the president is just the figurehead. He hasn't affected any change whatsoever in regards to racial relations. If anything, it has exacerbated. And if it lets you know where people of color stand or see, or how the government or the majority Caucasian people see people of power, see people of color in this nation, is this perfect example. Because you can't take, we can't take everybody in the den tonight, 5 of my brothers that chill with me at work, we start a gun club and walk downtown to the Federal Building in Richmond, Virginia, which is a 60-70% black African-American city. We can walk down there in our own city with guns out on the holster, and I bet you we won't get 5 seconds up the steps before somebody catch a bullet.
Exactly.
No,
So my point is that this is real. I mean, it's always been real, but it's just blatantly out now. You know what I'm saying?
I want you to address
and all
something,
you have to
Grizz.
look at Trump. He's talking about it blatantly today.
I want you to address something, Grizz. Our brother Hakeem is still listening to us. Hakeem, we appreciate you because you always bring a different way to look at things. I want Grizzy and I want Jay and Rube to jump in here and round table. Hakeem says they chilling in an unoccupied building. Who and what are they threatening? Valid question. It's a valid question. To that,
I can address it.
please do.
It's the symbolism of it. I get it. It's nobody there, and it's in bum F Oregon somewhere, where it's just, they're talking about ranches. It's the symbolism of what it means. In essence, you kind of got to put yourself in, which is hard, but put yourself in the mindset of the class of people who've always had control in this country, i.e. white people. And they see that people they think that the country is being taken away from them, or people's jumping across the border, and Muslim extremism is, they claim Muslim extremism is going on everywhere. This is like a thumb in the eye to everybody saying, you think that there is a lot of change, but at the end all, we still hold the reins of power here. We still can pull your card at any time. To me, that's the symbolism of it, especially since Marcus, help me with the name of the author that just passed recently that wrote the
Dr. Francis Cress Welding.
Exactly. And I read the ISIS papers when I was in college, and I was sad to hear her passing, but I immediately went back to some of her lectures throughout the years on YouTube, and thank God that they still have those things out there. But you kind of got to look at the stuff from a white man's perspective and say, hey, everything around me is being bombarded. I'm not cool anymore because I can't whip and I can't nay-nay, so the culture's gone from me. They done took political power and they put the black man or a half-black man in the White House. And now I can't. They coming for my guns, and I can't protect myself from the fearful Muslims or the fearful black people. So I got to show some type of authority to let them know that I can pull your card whenever I want to, and that's the symbolism. I think what it is. It could have been it could have been a field with redwood trees in it. It wouldn't have mattered if they said they're not moving, and the sheriff and the government says, "Oh, we're not coming to bother you." I had a problem with that. Because that means they can come walk into my subdivision right now and say this is originally our land, and nobody's going to move us. And now we got a situation. So that's my thoughts and opinions on it.
I can dig it, Grizz. Thank you, brother. Thank you for checking in.
I'm gonna hang up and listen to the rest of the show.
If you hear something else, call us back, brother. We got love for you. Talk to you soon, brother.
Peace.
Ain't no half step on Marcus J. I got another comment from Hakeem that I'm going to get to in a minute. Jay, Rube, y'all go ahead and address what we've been talking about so far.
Yeah, it's almost like it's white privilege, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, like he was saying, like if it was us, we wouldn't even get 5 steps. You know what I'm saying? Like we touched the steps, it would just been like a bullet, you know, in the Commonwealth.
I'm glad that you said that,
You know what I'm
because
saying?
Hakeem's comment kind of alludes to that. Hakeem says that he saw a video 2 days ago where armed black men with rifles chilling on the street, and Popo didn't do anything to them. You can't generalize and assume you know what's going to happen in each and every occurrence. To that,
Okay.
you guys say what?
He's right, and I think the problem is ultimately people do generalize, and that's where we have more problems. Now with this situation in Oregon, for some reason I didn't know that the building was empty.
Does it really matter? Like, I know Hakeem brought up that point. I'll be honest with you, I don't think that matters.
It
I really
doesn't.
don't think that matters.
doesn't.
Here's why it don't matter.
Okay.
Here's why it don't matter. If you break into my house and I ain't there, you still broke into my house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It don't matter that I'm not there. You don't belong there. You don't get to come in and take over federal land and say, I'm staying here indefinitely and I ain't leaving until you do what I say. You don't break into my house and say, you know what, Marcus J., you owe me $100 and I'm gonna come in your house and I'm gonna occupy it until you pay me the $100.
Right.
Even if I legitimately owe you $100, you don't get to break in my house and
Right.
stay there because I owe you $100. And to also address what you're saying, Hakeem, I get the point that you're making about the video that you saw. But we know our place in this country.
Right.
We know that even though I just gave you 2 cases of white women that was killed by police, let's not be disingenuous. And I'm not speaking to you directly, but I'm saying generally. Let's not act like we don't know that we are the ones that are hunted in this country.
Right.
I mean, we saw the guy who shot the guy in South Carolina. The police officer shot the guy running from him in the back. He just got bailed today, by the way.
Right.
He been in jail. He was indicted. Yeah, he's probably going to go to prison, but he got his bail today.
Right.
How many times did you see cases where a brother killed another brother and he got held with no bond?
Right.
But this cop just got bond. You know what I mean? Like, let's not act like we don't know that the rules are different for us than they are for everybody else. And we also know that if we really did storm the city hall in Flint or the Capitol in Michigan, that they would have took us out. We know this. Come on, man. We know this. We seen outrage about these people right now in Oregon. Only people outraged about Tamir Rice is black people. That's it. Nobody else is outraged. I'm not seeing an overall outrage from people across demographics about this 12-year-old boy who was waving a gun in an open carry state in a park by himself, who got shot within 2 seconds of the police arriving. What about John Crawford in Walmart, also in an open carry state, when he's testing out the guns in a store? They got guns in the store. He's testing them out. He's playing with them in the store. And you got some guy who calls the 911, admittedly, who was not being honest, said this guy waving a gun in the store, in open carry states, waving a gun in the store. Police come in before they have a discussion with him. They shoot him down. Like, come on, man. Let's not act like we don't know that the rules is different for us than they are for everybody else. So that's my whole deal. 1, I'm outraged that this is federal property. And 2, I'm outraged that we know that the rules are different for everybody else.
It's almost like, you know, what if China just decided Obama is not at the White House? You know, they just come, we decided we just going to walk in the White House, sit up, put our feet up. What's going to happen? They're going to take the White House down.
We seen the movies, right?
They're going to take
I think that's what it's called. White House down.
They're going to take it down. Pretty much.
Speaking of the armed militia, I got another thing that I want to get to real quick before we go to our sister, the serial entrepreneur, Miss Millionaire Mindset, Miss Roberta Hosky. She's going to join us in the next segment. But I guess these 2 stories are not connected, but I'm going to connect them anyway. The Obama administration will announce a series of executive actions on Tuesday, tomorrow, to combat gun violence in the United States. And among other things, the actions would expand mandatory background checks for some private sales. The administration would also provide more funding for mental health treatment, FBI staff, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosive Agents. Rube, you got a lot of people on the right, and you got a lot of people who are Second Amendment fans and gun rights advocates, particularly the NRA and others who have a huge problem with this. You've already heard Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, amongst others, come out and say that if they are elected president in November of 2016, the first thing that they are going to do is rescind these executive actions that the president is about to take. What are your thoughts on what he's about to do? Is it something that's legit? Should he do it, or is he overreaching?
First of all, I think it's funny that those two think they have a shot at becoming president. Second of all, I don't know exactly what he's going to do, but this is what I think he should do. Everybody should be able to have a gun. I'm fine with that. No issues. However, I think what you do is you strengthen the laws of violence with guns. Unless you can prove without a shadow of a doubt that it is self-defense. Mandatory 10. So basically, if you want to go out, and I would even to the point flex the rules for police. To the point whereas, look, police, you can't just turn around and be vigilantes. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all police are vigilantes. There are some who just, such as the little kid waving the gun in an open carry state. Maybe you should have been, hey, kid, what you doing, instead of shooting him up. I mean, the dude in Walmart, like you just said, hey, what are you doing, instead of shooting him up. Just because, and I have police in my family, just because people have the right to carry, that does not mean they have the right to shoot. And shoot without predication. Because honestly, a kid waving a gun, boom, we shoot him up. Oh crap, it's a toy gun, and it's an open carry state. Yeah, there's no way you win. There's no way you win in that as far as self-defense, especially when you never spoke to the kid, you never did anything, put the gun down, none of that. Nope. And I think that the problem that we have, the problem that everybody's mad about is not the guns.
It's the people, man.
It's the people. Yeah. And honestly, it's more or less not just the people, but the police. Because if you make the rules the same for everybody, regardless if you're a public defender or not, then people will be more apt to buy in. And that's the problem. Every time you have a public servant, aka policeman, who goes out, shoots somebody, whether it be accidental or incidental, or I meant to kill that dude. What happens is, in most cases that we've recently seen, they get off for whatever thing, such as, once again, the little kid. Really, dog? I mean, did he point the toy gun at you? I mean, did you not try to tell him to put it down?
He didn't have a chance to.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. The issue is not the guns. Now, yes, you need to go through the 3-day. Maybe you need to make a 7-day background check. Maybe you need to get some more people. Maybe you need to do the mental health. Maybe you need to do all that. But that's not the problem. The problem is if you put mandatory statutes on death by gun, that is not self-defense, and that means everybody, you will have less killings. Yeah. Because look, dude, when it's all said and done, if somebody who wants to kill you illegally, they're gonna kill you, and they don't care.
Basically,
But for me, this protects the police because it makes them think, and it says, "Hey, my cops, the New York guy, the New York mayor, my cops here ain't crazy." Because they're going to think twice before they shoot. Because they know if they shoot and they don't have probable cause and it's not self-defense, they go into jail.
Right.
Period. Point blank. So, in my opinion, I think that if you're going to make laws, you need to make the laws that affect the people after that, after having a gun. Sorry.
For me to jump back, Ms. Universe said trespassing is trespassing, whether it's empty or occupied. That was her thoughts on the Oregon situation. My thoughts on the gun control, I don't think they should outlaw it. Just like you were saying, I mean, people kill people, guns don't kill people. You know, as far as like the cops, they all train how to use a gun. So with that being said, they could shoot somebody in the leg. They shoot to kill. You know what I'm saying? They shoot to kill. So they meant to kill these black people because they know how to aim and they know where they're aiming at. They meant to kill these black people.
I will say that I will just caution that when you're trained, you are trained to kill. So you're not trained to only kill black people. You train to kill whoever you encounter.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you know, as a liberal, logical thinking person who is thinking life first, you want to say maybe shoot him in the leg, but that's just not how they're trained.
Right.
I think where we should be focusing our energy is education with regards to people policing the neighborhoods where they're comfortable. Because if you spend a lot of time around people who you comfortable with, then you comfortable with them. You can say, I know Ruben. Ruben's not a crazy person. I can, you know, or not just Ruben, just people like Ruben.
Yeah, they don't patrol the neighborhoods no more.
Not neighborhoods that they come from.
Right.
And so if you put me in a neighborhood that I'm unfamiliar with, I'm going to be more fearful.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'll give you that. Hakeem is continuing. He says that he saw white people more outraged in some instances than plenty of black people. There are definitely different sets of rules. He's given the president an F on gun control. I questioned him in social media before I read the comment. I asked him why would he give him an F. He's had to go so far as to do an executive order because he's run into opposition from Congress and, you know, other folks. And his response, if that was the case, why did it take so long for the executive action? He's moving now in this issue with several others, but his time is basically done. But, brother, his time is still here. He's not gone yet. You know what I mean? And my question to you is, what president have we had has ever cared? What president have we had has ever looked at the gun violence that we've had and did something about it? Columbine was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
And we've had 3 presidents since then, if you include the one we got now. And so you got the current one who's trying to make an effort. And so I don't know that it's fair to give him an F. You know, maybe you're not thinking that he did everything he could do. You don't give him an A. Cool, that's fine. I can dig it. But an F, I think that's unfair. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. We're going to take a break, y'all. And when we come back, super, super, super excited to bring to you Legacy Internet Radio's newest sponsor, our sister, the serial entrepreneur, Miss Millionaire Mindset, our sister Roberta Hosky. She's going to tell us her story. She's going to tell us about wealth building. We look forward to it. She's a motivational speaker, and so you're going to hear a dynamic interview that I am honored to give to you. Marcus J., Big Rube, Mr. 3375, and our sister